All right, for the recording, welcome back. We are Diamond ACI Course 6, Class 10, woohoo, on October 7, 2024. Let's gather our minds here as we usually do. Please bring your attention to your breath until you hear from me again. Now bring to mind that being who for you is a manifestation of ultimate love, ultimate compassion, ultimate wisdom. See them there with you, smiling at you with their holy great compassion, gazing at you with their unconditional love. Their wisdom radiating from them, that beautiful golden glow encompassing you in its light. And then we hear them say, bring to mind someone you know who's hurting in some way. Feel how much you would like to be able to help them. Recognize that the worldly ways we try fall short. How wonderful it would be if we could also help them in some deep and ultimate way, a way through which they would go on to stop their distress forever. We're learning that that is possible. We're learning how it's possible. So I invite you to grow that wish into a longing. And even into an intention. Then turn your mind back to that precious holy being. We know that they know what we need to know, what we need to learn yet, what we need to do yet, to become one who can help this other in this deep and ultimate way. And so we ask them, please, please teach us that. And they are so happy that we've asked. Of course, they agree. Our gratitude arises. We want to offer them something exquisite. And so we think of the perfect world they are teaching us how to create. We imagine we can hold it in our hands, and we offer it to them, following it with our promise to practice what they teach us, using our refuge prayer to make our promise. Here is the great earth, filled with fragrant incense and covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, 4 lands, wearing the jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of a Buddha and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kaunirya Tayami. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest, may we reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest, may we reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that I do in sharing this class and the rest, may all beings reach their total awakening for the benefit of every single other. All right. So last class, Subhuti said, what should we call this teaching? And Buddha said, call it the perfection of wisdom. And does the perfection of wisdom exist? No. Right. Which is why we can call it the perfection of wisdom. Yeah, got it. So then we learned, but there's 4 different things they mean by perfection of wisdom. And one of them is the natural perfection of wisdom, which really is code word for the ultimate nature of things, their emptiness. Also called natural nirvana, an absence. So he can't be talking about that perfection of wisdom when he says, let's call this teaching the perfection of wisdom, because it's not an absence. It's words being spoken to convey meaning. The second meaning of perfection of wisdom was the texts, but not just any Dharma text, the text, the teachings, the audios, the videos, etc., that teach an unerring presentation of the Mahayana middle way. And its results as the answer key. Then there's the path, perfection of wisdom, path here meaning the realizations. So the realization in the mind of an Arya Bodhisattva, meaning the wisdom of a Bodhisattva imbued with the extraordinary force of method and wisdom, which seems redundant, but we had talked about it. And then there's the result, perfection of wisdom, meaning the omniscience of a Buddha, the omniscience of your Buddha, you, when you reach the result perfection of wisdom, the real perfection of wisdom, perceiving things as they truly are in all times, in all ways. So appearing natures and empty natures simultaneously, we can't conceive of it. It's not a conceptual experience, it's direct. So the teaching Buddha's giving is the textual perfection of wisdom. And the idea is that by learning it and practicing it, we gain the path perfection of wisdom. And by then practicing further, we gain the result perfection of wisdom. All of it because all those perfection of wisdoms have natural perfection of wisdom, emptiness. So then we also talked about those two extremes, the extreme of existence and the extreme of non-existence. More importantly, holding to the extreme of existence, believing that things exist the way they appear. Which means believing that things exist independent of our projections forced on us by our karmic seeds ripening. It's called concocting, making something there that's not there, a self-existent thing, or a thing that's there independent of my projections is technically what we're doing. And then the way we know that we're holding to that extreme, for instance, says Geshe Michael, is that we would believe that lying could get us the business deal profit. No, it's evidence that we misunderstand, that we're seeing a benefit to lying, when in fact, what comes to us as a result of lying is to be lied to and to be mistrusted, both of which are unpleasant. So the pleasant result of getting the business advantage cannot have come from the lie, even though it looks like it did in the moment, is concocting. Then the holding to non-existence happens when we think, well, if things don't exist the way they seem to exist, they must not exist at all. And the ramification of that would be, so it just doesn't matter what I do, because everything's just like in a dream. It's going to shift, it's going to go away, nothing really matters. And it's like, we don't really come to that conclusion to the extent that we let our behavior just be totally selfish. I hope we don't do that, but we can see that it could. But when we hear the term, oh, things are nothing but projection, you know, if your mind is like mine, and I don't know, it automatically thinks, oh, things are less real. When in fact, saying things are my projection is what makes them real. And we're trying to get that into our automatic experience, that when we hear the things that we perceive, we go, oh, not real. The things that we project, now I've got reality. To hold to meitanzin is what's called discounting. There's something there, but you're saying there isn't. Meaning morality is important. And we're saying it's not, because in a dream, it doesn't really matter what you do. You wake up and you didn't hurt anybody. Okay. Then that all brought us to that fourfold distinctions that sages of the middle way know. Nothing exists naturally, but it's not that nothing exists at all. Things exist by way of projections in name only. Everything exists in name only. And it's not that things exist naturally. So naturally means in them, from them, the way they look. Nothing exists the way that, in that way. But it's not that nothing exists at all. Things exist in name only, meaning by projection. But when we project a thing having its own nature, which we do, it doesn't mean it does have its own nature, but it's not that things exist naturally. Right? We're projecting things with their own natures, but they don't have them. You see? Okay. So next in the sutra, Buddha says, thus is it, and like, thus it is, and thus is it, for emphasis. Any living beings who receive an explanation of this sutra and who are not made afraid and are not frightened and who do not become frightened are truly wondrous. So we haven't heard the whole sutra through yet, but we've heard the important parts. Did you get afraid? No, yay. Charlene says no. Yay, Charlene's wondrous. Why might we get afraid? I mean, for one thing, it says it's going to stir the pot and bad things are going to happen to you. But, did it? So I got a head cold, I didn't sleep very well a couple of nights. Big deal. Did anybody's car blow up? No. Somebody from the other class, they were in that Florida hurricane, but they did fine. And I don't know. But then what we're hearing is there's nothing that's not our projected results of our past behavior. Nothing we can experience. That's really big. There's nothing we can read about happening somewhere in the world that's not a ripening of our seeds. So as we really let that sink in, what Buddha is saying is each individual is personally responsible for everything that happens to them. And we say, okay, fine, within my little sphere, I take responsibility. But there's nothing we can even hear about happening that isn't also coming out of us to hear about it happening. And so it's happening somewhere. Exactly the way we've heard about it? No, probably not. Probably different. Maybe worse, maybe not so bad. But still, it means personal responsibility for everything. That takes big, broad, strong shoulders. And if we catch that ramification of this sutra and think, no way, I'm not responsible for that, right? I can't change that. I'm here, they're there. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't scrape mud out of the streets of North Carolina. I'm here in Tucson. I'm an old bag, I can't do it. But it's not true that we can't do anything. So Buddha's saying, if you hear this sutra and you don't get worried, you're amazing. Because it means you have the goodness to see that recognizing everything is our responsibility, puts us in the position of being able to change anything, just not in the moment. And that's the frustration, right? I want to fix it now, and I can't. but I can plant the seeds now and now and now and now that I know are going to change things when they finally ripen. Yeah. And it's frustrating to be in that gap. It's the time when our practice is to struggle to allow ourselves to be in the gap and just continue to plant while we're in the gap. And if we just keep planting, then it doesn't matter that we're in the gap, right? We know it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. All right. So this last class is about function, how things function, the emptiness of function. And when we're first learning about the emptiness of function, they use, we understand it first on this level that in Tibetan is Je Cha Tepa Chunam Tongkyang. Ja Che Tepa Chunam Tongkyang. I'm not sure I said that right. Ja Che Tepa Chunam Tongkyang. Ja Che means things work. When we say things work, we mean things that function. We mean things that change. We mean things that make other things change. We mean the change that happens. We mean results coming from causes. All those, we mean produced things. We mean producing things, right? So we're looking at it from different directions. Any way in which something changes something else, or something is changed by something else, is what we mean by function. For anything to do anything, or anybody to do anything, they have to change. And they have to affect a change on something else, apparently. Jache means things work. You put the key in the car, you turn it, the car starts. Things work. You grab the doorknob handle, you turn it, you push, the door opens. Things work. Tepa means correct or proper. Things work properly. Chunam means all existing things. All existing things work properly. Tong kyang. Tong means emptiness, empty. Kyang means even though. So this is saying, even though all existing things are empty, they work properly. Even though things are empty, they work. And on one level, we think we understand the emptiness of function because we understand the emptiness of the subject, the me side, not in it, from it, but depending on what's going on at the moment, that's the me that's there. And then we understand the emptiness of the object, the emptiness of the little bird that I'm wanting to feed. And that if I think of the emptiness of the little bird and the emptiness of me and the emptiness of the bread, I can plant my future Buddhahood for the little bird's benefit if I hold in mind as I'm feeding the bird the emptiness of me and the emptiness of it. And this is saying, okay, I understand the emptiness of the two of us. And still, I can feed the little bird can eat the bread. as if that the emptiness of the subject and the emptiness of the object would make function not possible. And yet it works, right? Can you feel? So that Geshe will call it, even though things are empty, they still work. It's a lower level of understanding, emptiness. It's useful, but it's not a level from which we can, in fact, plant our seeds in such a way that will bring about the end of all misunderstanding in the world, because there's still some misunderstanding in there. So that's what we're going to talk about. Geshe reminded us that sometimes Buddha would take the position of a lower wisdom to teach to his audience that was at an even lower level, to bring them up one rung on the ladder at a time. So he would convincingly argue, even though things are empty, they still work, which is true, right? Everything has always been empty and everything has always worked. Wait a minute, has it always worked? From Buddha's perspective, they have always worked, because they have always been the ripening of karmic seeds planted from before. So whether they work or don't work worldly, they've all worked. The way your karmic seeds make them work, he knows that. But what if his audience doesn't get that yet? And yet his audience isn't ready to hear, look, nothing has any nature of its own. Everything's illusion. Right? I still hear that and go, no, it can't be. Right? I crack my head open if I hit it on cement. That's not illusion. Illusionary cement would be I could fall on it and I could bounce like a trampoline, like in a dream. So we're going to get there, I hope, in this class. You know what? Can I have just a tiny minute? I need to close my windows. The wind's blasting through here. It's too much. Thank you. So a distinguishing feature of Prasangika Madhyamika, the highest school, in Tibetan called Umapa, which is so much easier to say, Umapa, is the difference in understanding of this phrase, Jache Tepa Chunam Tong Kyong. Even though things are empty, they still work. We haven't really studied the 6 flavors yet, right? If we started from 1 and we're at 6, but I think all of us have studied the 6 flavors, the 6 flavors of emptiness, to understand those different levels of schools at least a little bit. You know, the school that says dependent origination means things depend upon their causes. And emptiness means that there isn't anything that doesn't depend upon causes. And then somebody says, well, actually, there are some things that don't depend upon causes, the unchanging things. What about those? And they say, well, you know, all existing things exist in dependence upon their parts, because things that need causes have parts and things that don't have causes also have parts. So that's more inclusive. But it still doesn't really help us stop our suffering. And then you get to wow. Then you get to mind only school level. And, they dig in a little bit deeper and say, yes, everything is coming out of your karmic seeds. But they still hold that things that function must have some nature of their own, not self-existent, but they have some nature of their own that they bring to the party, that our seed ripens, bringing that pen and me together so that I can write with it. Right? Mind only school, very high level Mahayana school, believes that things that function have to have like some essence of their function in them. Because I can write with a pen, I cannot write with a banana. As if wanting to write with a banana would be enough to make my projection be such that I could, if that's what it meant by function is also projection. So then you get the lower middle way that kind of hedges its bets between functioning things still have something in them and functioning things don't have anything in them. And they say, well, it's kind of like a magic show, It looks like they have something in them because of some spell that we're under. And then they do have that something in them. But we understand that, it can't be the way we think. And then high school, nothing has any nature in it. If any pen has pen nature in it, it can't do anything. I can't do anything with it. Things having their own, functioning things having their natures in them would mean they always have to be that thing for everybody, in which case it wouldn't depend upon me to pick it up and write with it. If pens write in them, it wouldn't need me to write. So it's like highest view is the one that insists that function also is empty of own nature, meaning function also is ripening out of the seeds of the mind of the being who's experiencing the function. Either experiencing it by seeing it happen somewhere else, or experiencing it personally by being the one who's baking the cake, or experiencing personally as being the recipient of the yelling boss making me angry. Highest view says function also must be nothing but projection. Function is illusion. We're going to get there. Like, wait, if it's illusion, it's not really happening. No, it's illusion, and it's because it's illusion, it's happening in the way we're experiencing. Umapa. So Geshe-la's two favorite examples for exploring function is investment strategies and medicines. So do investment strategies work? Do medicines work? And it's like, do we choose an investment, high risk, balanced, or low risk? Which do you choose? Which is the one that is going to give you the result that you want? What's the result that you want? You want to be able to park your savings somewhere so that when you come back to need them later, they will still be there and be bigger, right? They're supposed to somehow increase by way of where you choose to put them. The result we want is for those funds to be safe and to grow. So they'll be there for me when I'm 90 years old. Medicines. Suppose I have pneumonia and the doctor says, penicillin is the best medicine for your pneumonia. Here, take this medicine. The next person also has pneumonia. Penicillin, best medicine for your pneumonia. I take the medicine, I get better. They take the medicine, they don't get better. The third person takes the medicine, they actually have a bad reaction and they get worse. The investment strategy. One person puts all their funds into a high risk investment and whoa, you know, weeks later, they're a millionaire. We think, oh man, they're brilliant. Another person puts all their money in risky investment. You know, 6 months later, they've lost it all. Man, was that stupid. Somebody else puts it in, you know, a 20-year CD. That's dumb. End of 20 years, they have all that they need. Somebody else puts their money in a 20-year CD. And it's like, man, was that dumb? There's nothing in it when I get back to it. Like it's the same amount as it was when I put it in 20 years before, right? Investment strategies don't work. Medicines don't work. Yeah, but I took the penicillin and I got better. It did work. The other person took the penicillin and didn't get better. Shu nam tong kyang means it still worked according to their karma, right? Because there's nothing in the medicine. There's nothing in the investment strategy that can work. Yeah, there's active ingredient in the medicine. But if that active ingredient was the cause of the result of the medicine, the active ingredient is in every pill. Why does it work for some and not for others? The experiencer has to be bringing something to the party, don't they? Has to be. So we say, oh yeah, because it's the emptiness of the penicillin. But what about the emptiness of the taking the penicillin? Like the swallowing it and it dispersing through my body and it finding the little bacteria, right? Don't we think that it's floating around inside there and it finds the little bacteria and the little bacteria eat it and they go, right? And they die. It's like somehow we have in our mind some weird way that medicine works. Or maybe we don't even think that through. Doctor said, take it, I'll take it, I'll get better. I mean, either way, it can't be working in the way that we're thinking. Because if it did, everybody would get better taking penicillin. And they don't. Emptiness of function. Like, how do we really prove it? Geshe says, think of it this way. Is taking a medicine part of our deceptive world experience? Yes. And is everything in our deceptive reality deceptive? Yes, by definition. How is it deceiving us? How are we deceived? We're deceived by our belief in a me in me, a penicillin in the medicine, and in the belief that taking the medicine will cure my infection. We're deceived by that. Not by there being a medicine to take, and not by the swallowing of it, and not even by the getting better. We're not deceived by that. Those are valid experiences. But we're deceived by the continued belief that they're all in them, from them, happening to me, independent of results of my past behavior. That's the deceived part. We don't see, we're not aware that everything is ripening results of our own past behavior, because we can't connect that dot directly. My past behavior is long gone. My current behavior is, egads, I'm sick, I need medicine. I get medicine. Where does even the getting medicine come from? If I think it's a good thing, it's got to be a ripening of having tried to help somebody in the past. If the medicine works, it has to be a result of having tried to help somebody in the past. If I get a bad result, it's a ripening result of when I tried to help somebody and it went wrong, or when I didn't try to help somebody when I could have. Our experiences are also empty. The things we try to do in response to those experiences to get some result are also empty. They have to be, because we're experiencing them in our deceptive world. We experience them deceptively, right? So being able to work out, first of all, what we're misunderstanding about functioning things, and then to recognize that that misunderstanding is really a misunderstanding and take it away, is what helps us actually shift from the lower schools into highest middle way. Right? This understanding of the emptiness of function is what makes us middle way. We have to understand the emptiness of subjects and objects really well, but we can't leave it at that, because our minds won't automatically go to the emptiness of the key starting the car, or the emptiness of the yelling boss being the cause of this bad feeling that I have. We can understand the emptiness of the yelling, understand the emptiness of the feeling, but still misunderstand the emptiness of their causing that feeling in me, because they can't, independent of my seeds ripening, them causing that bad feeling in me. Right? So we're not saying the function's not working. We're saying that how it's working is that it's coming out of my seeds, forcing the key to start the car today, but not the next time. Okay. But the reason that we struggle, if we do, is that our minds are clinging so strongly to the need for something to be real. No, we've been cooking the idea that my own me is empty. But there has to be something in me that allows me to open the door, to start the car, right? To get out of bed. I can't be completely empty, because that would mean I'm not there at all. Says our mind. There has to be something in me that's real. There has to be something in the object that's real, because our ignorant mind automatically hears, oh, nothing but projection, and oh, then it doesn't exist. How can a not real thing, right? How can I use a not real thing to write a not real letter that a not real person will not real read and have anything happen? Like, it's like something has to be real. Insists some part of our mind. So Umapa says, try to find that thing that you need to be real, that you're so sure is real. And you start out, okay, here's the pen I'm using to write with. What's really happening? Information given a label. Me writing with pen. Well, what's underneath that? Where's the me writing with pen that's real? We pull it apart. Sensation, thinking. Where do those two touch? Where do those two happen? You can't actually find a moment the pen touches the paper, can you? Because you could always split it a little further. And yet there's the pen touching the paper. Where's the moment my thought, what I want to write, turns into my hand making it go? And where's the moment that the squiggle on the paper turns into the word? It's quite magical, really, that we can do anything at all when you really start digging in. It's that process of when you go looking for the thing that gets the label, you can't find it. Do you ever find nothing? No. There's always something more subtle that's receiving a label. And what we reach is this, oh my gosh, nothing exists any other way than this. Information label, information label, information label, information label. And then we say, well, then there must be something in the information. Right, what's in the information is the emptiness of the information, so it can receive the label that gets put on it. This by me and this by you. It's the emptiness of the information that allows everybody's projection to see it in the way that they see it. And we're catching on. Okay. I'm like, okay, I get it. Pens, my car, turning the key. I get it. Eating lunch, taking medicine. I think I'm getting it. But what about something like the sun rising? Come on. That can't be just projection. Our whole planet, everything depends on that thing happening. There must be something independent of the perceivers of it, right? Because the sun still rises if you live in a cave with no windows and no opening, the door's all closed and you don't know what time it is. You don't know whether the sun's up or not, but you still believe that every 24 hours that sun comes up and goes down because there's something in the sun, right? Right, Chris goes, no, there's not. Well, then what's happening? Are there like 8 billion people who have the same kind of karma for a sun to rise every 24 hours? 8 billion people, half at a time, sort of. And all the animals as well. Do we all just have these similar seeds? Yes, technically. And what's really happening in this experience, the sun rising? Information, getting a label, information, getting a label, information, getting a label. The sky's dark. Like it was dark when I first got out of bed. Now there's a little bit of, light to the sky. And then it'll get a little more light. And then there'll be the first little sliver of the sun coming over I live at the base of, we call them mountains, but they're only like 500 feet above. And then A little sliver comes out. A little more sliver. A little more sliver. Half a sun. Whole sun. Sun at noon, right? It's little bits of information that our seeds put. Dawn, sunrise, 10 a.m., noon. Our minds are putting information together, otherwise unidentified information together, and calling it sunrise. So we all experience, if we're all standing in Tucson Estates looking east, do we all experience the same sunrise? No. Don't we think we do? What time's the sun coming up? 6:15. Wait for it. Wait, same 6:15 for everybody, right? No. But we're all standing there having the sunrise. Even though things are empty, they work. Right? High school says, because things are empty, they work. Come on, get it right. Not even though. Because things are empty, they work. So we can expect that sunrise to happen every single day for the rest of forever, right? No, because we're using up sunrise karma with everyone that we experience. If we don't perpetuate it in some way, it's going to wear out. So does that mean the sun's just going to poof? Technically, someday it is. But when our karmic seeds for sunrises wears out, guess what? It means we're dead, or in a jail cell, or in a cave, right? Or reborn as an earthworm, living 3 feet underground. There are apparently worlds where there are no suns. There is no light. And there's still beings existing in a world where there's no such thing as sunshine and light. So where does this functioning thing, the sunrise, the sun itself, where does it come from? Like, is it a good thing? Yes. It gives us light, it gives us warmth, it gives us, power, it gives us energy, it gives us all kinds of good things, which can only be a ripening of us having somehow provided light and warmth to others. Whoa, my seeds
Does
can't
it come the same as in blue?
I'm sorry?
Come the same as in blue, as in the blue sky, sunshine? Yes, right? It's the same analogy.
No, it's different because the sun is functioning. Blue is just blue.
Okay, thank you.
The functioning of the sun is the karmic results of some past functioning that we tried to do, that we did. Too much sunshine gives people skin cancer. We somehow overdid it in our giving people, light or help or warmth. If we're the one that the sunshine gives us skin cancer. Does the sunshine give us skin cancer? No. Do you get skin cancer without being exposed to the sun? Some people do. Some people, it's because they get overexposed to the sun. So this good thing is a bad thing. How can one thing be good and bad at the same time? If its function is in it, it can't. It has to be coming from the beings who are experiencing it. You make the sunshine. You make the sun come up. It's tempting to say we have collective karma. And we could call it that, but it would mean we all have similar karmas ripening. What it is to be human is to have many certain similar karmas ripening now. What it is to be a wildebeest amongst 2 billion wildebeests is certain karmic seeds ripening as that. It's not that we share karma. It's that we've made similar karmas, and those seeds ripening bring us similar experience, and we call it human. But then what about the consistency of the sun? It comes up a few minutes later or earlier, depending on where we are in the cycle, and it does it predictably. And that has to be a function of, the way everything's spinning and turning and gravity and all that physics stuff. There has to be something real about the pattern of sunrise, sunset, etc. Our mind says. But is that an experience in our deceptive world? Yes. Can we have an experience in our deceptive world that's not a result of our own past deeds? No. So even the consistency of those natural laws are coming out of our seeds. Good job, us. We could have made inconsistency in the natural world. And that would be like living in a crazy dream, where one instant you're in your living room, the next instant you're in the beach, the next instant you're being chased by a dinosaur, the next instant you're in a spaceship. And it's like, you don't go, wow, what's going on here? This is crazy in your dream. You're just, whatever is happening in the dream, and we don't think of it, but we don't accomplish anything either in the dream. And then we wake up and go, oh, it's all a dream. Nothing really happened. Life could be like that. Just random blurps of weird stuff happening. And we wouldn't have the circumstances to be able to choose a different response. Or maybe we would, right? There are whole practices in lucid dreaming where what you do as a lucid dreamer is intentionally keep your vows really well, like even better in your dream than you could in real life. And you plant really effectively in a dream life, because you can when you're lucidly dreaming, you can plant your seed and you can get result. Plant result. And you can do that in a dream. And we can't do that in real life. But you plant your seeds for being able to do it in a dream. Guess what? Those seeds eventually ripen doing it in undream life too. And which life's going to be more real? Dream life or waking life? And that's a long story. So don't go there without training. I'm just giving a glimpse. That's not one of my practices, but I know of it. Okay. Let's take a break.
So can I ask a question?
Right. Actually, I don't need the screen share yet. Okay. So when we were talking about the sunrise, is the sunrise really happening? What's really happening? Our own projections. shifting, 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 shifting. And we experience the sun coming up. So you have a question where it says, do things change, or why do things change, or something like that? And it's a trick question, because the answer should be things don't change. My karmic seeds change. And I have the experience, something changing. Your answer could also be, what things are you asking about? Do things change? What things? But the answer they want is, no, things don't change. My karmic seeds change. And so they appear to change. Does that mean they don't really change? Really, the sun's just standing still. Technically, that's true, right? The sun's there, we're spinning. It appears that the sun comes up and goes down. The sun doesn't do that. Our seeds make it do that. Well, only because the earth rolls. Yeah, but our seeds make that too. Thank you very much, everybody. Please don't stop. So we're trying to grasp that causes and their effects must also be driven by the projections of the experiencer. Shifting projections, moment by moment, create the appearance of things functioning. But the words, like my mind goes, create the appearance, that means they're not really functioning. My seeds ripening, create the appearance, taxi cab breaking my appearing legs. Appearances are real. If we say, the taxi cab broke my legs, we would be speaking wrongly, wouldn't we? My seeds ripening, me run over by a taxi cab, my legs broken, now it hurts. Like all hyphenated, coming out of my seeds. Does that mean that taxi cab wasn't real? Does that mean my broken legs are not real? They are real. Does that mean there was something in the taxi cab that made it such that it could break my legs? No, not without my seed ripening, giving the taxi cab that power. Why would I do that? I don't do it by choice. It's forced on me. Why? Because my ripening seeds are the results of past similar deeds planted. So I've been hit by taxi cabs before. You would think I'd learn not to run out in front of them. No, it's because I was careless and hurt somebody before. I never did that. What? You never crushed a bug by accident? Seeds grow. Function also has to come out of the seeds of the experiencer of the function, whether it's happening to us or we are trying to do something, or we're just hearing about something functioning somewhere else. Can we experience something that's not our experience? It's absurd to say it like that. Every experience is a karmic seed ripening. Can we experience something without it being our seeds ripening? No. Do we think we can? Yes. If we blame the key for not starting the car, well, we don't do that. We blame the battery when the key doesn't work, don't we? But we blame the key when it does start the car. We think the key did it. And then it doesn't do it. And we don't go, what's the matter with you, key? Why didn't you work today? We blame something else, which tells us that we do know that it's not the key that starts the car. Like we all know that, right? Even conventional humans, you need a key to start the car, but the key doesn't start the car. It takes batteries and gas and oil and all these other factors to start the car. But then don't we expect every time we get in the car and put the key in and turn it, we expect the car to start? What would it be like if we really didn't know? Like if we were living in our seeds ripening and we just didn't know whether my seeds would ripen key starting car today or not. You know, it's like, well, let's just see. I have an eye doctor appointment a little couple hours from now. I expect that my car will start and I will get there on time. But what if I just didn't know? You know, we'd either be in panic all the time or we'd be in this awe and wonder. Let's see how good my karma is today. Wow, car started. Let's see how good my karma is today. Wow, I got there. Let's see how good my karma is. Your eyes are fine. Wow, great. Right? It would be this amazing wow factor if we could stay in this space of, I just don't know. Anything's possible. But it could also be terrifying, right? Anything's possible. I could get in a whopping car accident. And then it's like, okay, I'm canceling my appointment. I'm afraid to go out. Where's the comfort? The comfort's in all of those are opportunities to plant seeds. You know, you don't plant many seeds if you just stay in bed with the covers up to here. But we go out and take our chances with our world knowing our response is what we plant for the future. In particular, the response of the function. So we've been actually working with the emptiness of function from the get-go because we've been being taught how you plant your seeds is by what you think and do and say towards others. That's all function. But in order to get our function right, we studied the emptiness of subject, the emptiness of object, and now we're studying the emptiness of the interaction between, which is how we make our karmic seeds. So the emptiness of function needs to also understand the emptiness of the function of karmic seeds, because they don't have anything in them either. The laws of karma don't have anything in them either. That's all part of our deceptive reality coming out of our seeds and we don't know it. So, sorry, I got distracted from my notes. I don't want to miss something. Geshe says the suffering in our world is caused by us expecting some result from another thing. And sometimes we get it and sometimes we don't. When we don't get it, we blame something else, something other than our past behavior, we blame. And we act towards that thing that we're blaming for the displeasure in a way, typically, that makes more displeasure result in the future. And we don't understand that that's what we're doing. We think we're fixing the problem. When we act and get the result that we expected, that's almost worse because that confirms our belief that's a misbelief that we don't understand is a misbelief. And so we don't question it. Every time the key starts the car, confirms that keys start cars. And that's an unfortunate confirmation because keys don't start cars. So when things work worldly, we're actually hurting ourselves because it's allowing us to let our ignorance go on. When things don't work the way we expected, we blame somebody else for it, which still allows us to go on with our misunderstanding. So either way, there's no cause-result experience that we can have that will automatically wake us up if we don't connect the dot. Hey, bad things happen, leaves me unhappy. Good things happen, they also leave me unhappy in the end. Neutral things happen, they're just neutral, right? I want happy. What's wrong with this picture? You're all already there, wondering what's wrong with the picture, and we know the punchline. If we knew cause and effect perfectly, says Geshe Michael, we would not expect things to work like that. We would not expect that what we do in the moment brings what comes in the next moment. We would know that those two are not actually related. We would know that what we do in the moment creates circumstances for our future. And what happens in the moment is the result of what we've done in the past. So the better we can live in that wisdom space, the better we're in plant mode, right? Just very clear that I'm planting seeds as I do this. And that's where we want this mind imbued with bodhicitta and all that we're packing that with, so that with each seed I'm planting as I do the dishes, as I brush my teeth, as I drive through traffic, I'm experiencing, I'm ripening, and I'm planting. And that everything I'm planting, I want imbued with that in order to bring every being, right, to ultimate happiness someday. All right. The apparent causation of what we think happens doesn't work. The key does not start the car. The yelling boss does not make you upset. My seeds make me turning key starting car happening. My ripening seeds make, her yelling at me, blaming me, so me upset happening right now. Blame my seeds, not the boss. Shows me, allows me to behave towards that experience in a way that burns off the unpleasantness and plant something different than what my ignorant reaction would have been. Right? Our power is in the emptiness of our function. It's an important piece to catch on to. Deceptive reality, things aren't the way they appear. The way they appear and the way they really exist don't jive, right? The way they seem to exist and the way they really exist are opposite. All right, so the lower schools say there are two kinds of deceptive reality. There's correct deceptive reality, oxymoron, right deceptive reality, and wrong deceptive reality. Accurate deceptive reality, they say, is like when you're looking at a lake. You're at the lake, you see the lake, there's water there. You can drink that water. You can drown in that water. You can go water skiing on that water, right? All kinds of things that you can do with water. It is deceptive reality. It's a lake come from causes. It's a lake come from its conditions. It's a lake, come to me and me to it from my seeds ripening. It is a lake. And it's my appearing reality, so it's deceptive reality. It's accurate deceptive reality because it functions in the way I expect it. It's water, I could drink it. Wrong deceptive reality is you're driving through the desert and you look out and you see a lake. And it's like, what's water doing out there? I'm in the desert. It hasn't rained. And you drive a little further and then you see it break up and it gets shimmery and, oh, that was a mirage. Wrong deceptive reality was the thinking there was water there when what was there was a mirage. The mirage is not real. The water was not real. You couldn't drink from that water. You couldn't drown in that water. That water was wrong deceptive reality. Do you see the difference? Right deceptive reality and wrong deceptive reality. We make the distinction because our minds are thinking there's a difference between a lake that's real water and a lake that's mirage water. We think there's a difference. We think the lake is more real than the water of the mirage. Don't we? Like I'm checking my own mind and it's going, yeah. There is a difference. And highest way is not saying there's not a difference. They are saying the difference is not in the water of the lake or the water of the mirage. Is it? The difference is the different seeds ripening. So highest school says that there's no two different kinds of deceptive reality. There's not right deceptive reality, wrong deceptive reality. There is just deceptive reality because the lake and the mirage person is, for both of them, not saying, oh, it's my projections ripening lake, real lake. My projections ripening water in the desert. Oh, it's mirage. And so both are equally incorrect, equally deceived by the belief that there's something in the water, there's something in the mirage that makes that water not water. Technically, you could drown in a mirage because you don't drown in a lake. Our karmic seeds ripen drowning. And the circumstances will be such that you are drowning. And you can drown in sand, technically, if your seeds ripen for that. So that need for something to be real, it's so deep inside us. And like we need to find the gakcha before we can remove it and find emptiness. This is another one. We want to say, no, I understand the difference between water in a lake and water in a mirage. I get it. But work at it to see where we are clinging to. There's a difference between the water in a lake and the water in a mirage. Because my mind says there is a difference there. One's real water and one's not. But there is no difference there. They are both water by way of projections and not real water by way of projections. They are both projections. There is no real water, ever. there's projection real water. And so there's real water. So if we want a future where, I don't know, we're successful, whatever kind of successful means for you, the only way that that will come about, if we don't have it now, is to try to help someone else feel the kind of success that they would want. You know, moral, kind success. You wouldn't go to someone, right, who's alcoholic, who would say, the success I want is to have all the alcohol available that I could use all day long. And technically, you could make good seeds by just providing that for them. But you would also make bad seeds of someone providing you with something that you wanted that actually hurt you and hurt others. So we do still have the understanding that there are certain things that people think they want to make them happy. And it's a deceptive world happiness. And in our efforts to create a more happy world, we refuse to give them that. We can give them something else. So Madhyamaka says, don't talk to us about investment strategies, or do I take the medicine or don't I take the medicine? Be generous. Avoid harming others. Try to protect life. Generosity brings the things we need. Protecting life brings our own life protected in times when we need it. The difficulty is the time lapse between what we plant and what we receive. But we are in every moment ripening results of past deeds. So when we say plant, 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 we're thinking some future. But realize all the goodness that's ripening for each of us now and now and now. And we want to perpetuate that. It's fair to want to perpetuate all the goodness that we have. We created it with our past kindness, our past generosity, our past sharing. And so to be happy with our current circumstances and use our current circumstances to help others with their current circumstances is where our creation of our future happens. Deceptive reality appears to work, driven by karma. Every time my key does start my car, it's because my karmic seeds of helping somebody get somewhere is ripening. Even though things are empty, they still work properly. Work properly doesn't mean even though the key is empty, it can still start the car. It means because the key and the starting of the car is empty, things work according to karma absolutely correctly. Ja che tepa. Whether the key works or doesn't work on any given day is according to karma. It's always absolutely correct. Because things are empty, dependent origination is happening. Dependent origination is infallible. It doesn't go according to what I want. It goes according to what I created and what's ripening now. It is infallible. There is never anything that goes wrong. it sure seems like things go wrong. All of that seeming to go wrong is evidence of our misunderstanding. Misunderstanding from before that's inside the seeds that are ripening. Every time I've ever started my car with my key and thought that that's what started the car has been imprinted into when the key does start the car, believing that the key started the car. Right? My ignorance is being replanted. It's ripening and it's being replanted. And it's that ignorance that makes me hold that there has to be something more real in the water in the lake than the water in the mirage. It's the ignorance making me hold to that. And so it's a constant struggle. It's a constant effort. It can be seen as a constant game to recognize the ignorance piece, the believing even the function is in it somehow, and pull it away and go, no, this is ripening my seeds. I helped somebody get something similar before. Wow. Let's see how it'll work. Let's see what happens next. Let's see. Okay. Lower Madhyamaka, right? They're the 50-50 school. They say, we understand mind only still holds to this function. Functioning things have to have some nature of their own. But we also understand that can't really be true and explain our experiences. We understand that we, the experiencer, bring a lot to the party, but we still understand that there has to be something in that functioning thing that distinguishes it from something else. Lower middle way says, look, tomato seeds make tomato plants. You can't make a banana plant out of a tomato seed, no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you wish, no matter how hard you project. There must be something in the tomato seed. Now we understand that any given tomato seed is unique to the one who's experiencing the tomato seed, and whether it actually goes on to make the tomato plant that has tomatoes will be unique to the one who's experiencing it. But come on, you have to admit, there's something different in a tomato seed than an orange seed. There's something different in the tomato seed than in a pen. And our minds, right? The part of our minds that wants something to be real. Yeah, something in the tomato seed. But you know, shortly after we moved to Diamond Mountain, I had a packet of store-bought wildflower seeds specific to that area of the desert. And we had, I was like trying to replant this area that was our septic field. And so I broadcast these wildflower seeds in October. And I was waiting for the poppy seeds and the lupin and stuff to come up. And I didn't see anything for a long time. And then, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks later, I'm marching around out there and it's like, that's a radish plant. And I pulled it up and there was this little radish, you know, and it's like, there's kale over here. Like, who planted kale? And I realized I had, you know, and then my mind goes, well, now that's weird. How did radish and kale and broccoli seeds get in the wildflower packet? And it's like, well, that can't be, because then that whole batch of wildflower seeds would have been kale and radish and they would have recalled them. And right, it's like, it didn't make sense. My things had to be real explanation made less sense then wow, my karmic seeds were really weird. No poppies. Like I love poppies and I've never been able to grow poppies. And it's like, okay, but I guess I can grow radishes because there they are out in the desert. And it's just like, there's nothing in a poppy seed or a radish seed that makes it into a radish or a poppy other than the seeds ripening of the ones who experience it that way. So can we get banana plants out of tomato seeds? No. But why not? Because our karma makes the tomato seed unique to tomato plants. Our karma makes it that way. Thank you, karma. I don't want to plant poppy seeds and get radishes. I want to plant poppy seeds and get poppies. So karma makes that uniqueness of things that appear to function. Why do tomato seeds make tomato plants? Right? Your answer would be, what tomato seed are you asking about? My karma makes tomato seeds make tomato plants. The seeds don't. Mind only says, you know, karma, it's the karmic seeds that brings the object and the subject together so the interaction can happen. And those karmic seeds, they store this experience. And those karmic seeds, each one stores a specific experience. It's going to grow, but you see yourself, anyone have a pen? Yes, I have a pen. That seed for receiving a pen when you need a pen or something, when you need something, is planted into that seed. And that seed isn't going to turn into getting stolen from, for instance. It has something unique in it that's going to grow until it ripens and brings the experience. Anyone have a pen? I have one. Good. So they say the seed needs a place to stay. It's a thing that we've made, and it needs a place to stay while it's being influenced until it gets over the threshold into its ripening. So we must have a foundation consciousness, a place where those seeds stay. And then while they're in there, they get influenced by other experiences that we have. While they're in there, we can influence them with our 4 powers, right? So that we can, negate some of their selfishness. We can influence them with our rejoicing practice coming up December 17th. We can influence them because they're there. They're things that are there, right? You can put some kind of chemical on the tomato seed to help it sprout stronger, apparently. But if karma has some nature of its own, how can it be influenced by other seeds coming in and going out? If our karmic seeds have some nature of their own, how could our 4 powers take an unpleasant thing and negate it? It couldn't really work the way life is experienced. Mind Only School says, yes, it does. And it explains everything. And it's useful because still at Mind Only School level, the conclusion is the way I imprint my mind puts in those seeds that are going to be my future. So I still want to be kind because I want a kind future. of nice things coming to me. But as long as we're holding to anything, having even the tiniest little bit of its own nature, and that thing exists in our suffering world, it means there's a part of that existing thing in the suffering world that we cannot change. If there's something that exists in samsara, independent of our projection of it existing in samsara, then there's part of an it in samsara that can never change, that can never be transformed, that can never be stopped. It would mean there could be no end to samsara. It would mean there could be no Buddhahood for that being who has that essence of reality in them. If we're thinking somebody or something else has that little teeny bit of in them from them, we must be thinking we ourselves have some teeny bit of me in me. And if that me in me sees itself as a samsaric being trying to start cars by turning keys and thinking it works when it does and getting upset when it doesn't, then there's a tiny piece of us that we can't change. And that means we can't stop suffering. And that means we can't reach happiness. And that means we can't become Buddhas. And what the heck are we doing? Do you see the cliff? We really do have those two cliffs. So Prasangika says, fine, work with your foundation consciousness and your karmic seeds, but ultimately, karma is nothing but projections also. Our karmic seeds are projected. You don't need a foundation consciousness. This process of imprints, exprints, right? Kind of made up a word. Imprints, projections, imprints, projections. Each one has a subject side, an object side, and the interaction between the function side coming out and being imprinted, coming out and being imprinted. As they're imprinted before they project, they've grown. So 65 in, 65 out, but the 65 are growing. We will never run out of karmic seeds. Subject-object interaction between. But there is never anything that's not within that process. There isn't anything of any aspect of any of the three spheres that can have even the teeniest bit of being itself in itself, of being real. And so we can call them real, says Buddha, meaning our seed projection makes things real, and they are. But our ignorant seeds projection make them real from them, in them, and they're not. Do you see the fourfold distinction? Our karmic seeds ripen, believing there's something in the tomato seed that will make the tomato plant. But there is no such thing in the tomato seed, which is why my seeds can ripen, the tomato seed making a tomato plant and not anything else. Thank you very much. But that doesn't mean when the tomato plant comes out of the tomato seed, there was something in the tomato seed that made that happen. Our karma is ripening, right? Highest world view is identifying with the process of ripenings, plantings, ripenings, plantings, ripenings, planting. And within that is every real and non-real thing we've ever experienced or ever could. So real now means by projection. Empty things are real according to what's being projected by the one who's projecting it. Okay, that was question 4. So we're understanding that the seed that's planted is empty, and then it's replicating is also empty of self nature. It's happening by way of our projections. And then the flowering of it is also a ripening of our projections. And it's hard to get this concept that what we're calling karma and its laws are within the process of our ripening seeds. And that's why they're true. And that's how we can rely upon them. Highest worldview understands the emptiness of karma and its 4 laws, which makes them real. It does not mean, oh, then those 4 laws, I can redefine them. I can make them different. No, they're not laws that say how to behave. They are explanations for how reality functions. They are merely explanations, guidelines that when we understand that that's in fact how we create our world, we can connect the dot between our behavior and our future experience. Connecting that dot then says, oh, because things are empty, I must observe those laws of karma. I want to behave morally because I want to be happy, let alone want to reach total enlightenment. What are those 4 laws of karma? A kind deed must bring a good result, a pleasant result. An unkind deed must bring an unpleasant result. Deeds done grow. The seeds grow. A deed not done can't bring a result. Duh. No tomato seed, no tomato plant. A deed done must bring a result unless we adequately purify it. Understanding that that's an explanation of the process happening of experience being projected results, interactions with those experiencing, planting the new cause for future results. And our conclusion is, oh, so how I interact with those experiences is where I create the circumstances of my future experiences. Experiences are results. Interactions with experiences make causes. The causes being the karmic seed causes, the results being the karmic seed results. And that's the only cause and result in our world that's functioning, that ever has functioned. It's our karmic cause-result relationship that car keys start cars. It's our karmic ripening result that tomato seeds make tomato plants. It's our karmic ripening result that red face, round mouth, loud decibels is yelling boss, making me feel uncomfortable. Our process, karmic seeds ripening from karmic seeds planted, and we are nothing other than that. A friend of mine heard this class and she goes, oh, I'm nothing but a rolling ball of karma. And it's so helpful to think of it that way, you know, just right. So then an educated Buddhist would say, Tsongkhapa said, because things are empty, I want to be more moral. Not just I have to be more moral, I want to be, because I want a happy world. I don't seem to know what really brings other people happiness. I don't really seem to know what really brings me happiness. Like, I think I can eat that third piece of triple berry pie and enjoy it. But by the third piece, I'm feeling kind of sick. Like, why did I do that to myself? I don't really know what behavior to do. We can, you know, general purpose it. It's nice to be smiled at, so I'll smile at people. It's nice to be praised, so I'll praise people. But deep down, if I want to stop the suffering of the world, I really just, I can't know. I don't know what to do. Like, we know obvious reality, blue. We know hidden reality is the emptiness of things. And we've learned that deeply hidden reality is those specific details of karma and its consequences. So we can logic out the general principles of kindness brings kindness. But all we really have is, you know, I know what human kindness feels like, so I'll do human kindness. But I don't really know the deeper things. And so we might, when we come to this conclusion, I want to be more moral in more detailed ways, and just go to an omniscient being, Shakyamuni Buddha, and say, just tell me what I need to do, because I can't get it. I can only get it at a superficial level. And Buddha taught vowed morality. He taught morality, and he taught the Jataka tales, the stories of his own past lives. They seem like children's books, but they're actually clues to what things to take up and what to give up. Like, some of them are wrong things that he did that set him back a long, long time. And others are those amazing stories, you know, like the huge elephant that threw himself off the cliff so the starving people could eat him. You know, beautiful, amazing stories. And then the morality teachings, apparently there's as much written down that Buddha taught having to do with Vinaya, the vowed morality, as there was about emptiness. Buddha spent equal time. And we see it in this sutra as well. Buddha's talking about the emptiness of something, and then he goes to that virtue stuff. Would it be a lot of virtue to cover 1 billion planets and all those jewels and offer it to the Buddha? Yeah, wow. Nah, nothing compared to studying Diamond Cutter Sutra. Oh, right. So there's a clue to what morality looks like. Study emptiness. That's a morality? Yes. Okay. It's an instruction by Lord Buddha. So it's no surprise that our next course is that course about the Bodhisattva vows, because Diamond Cutter Sutra left us there. What should I do, Buddha? What is a Bodhisattva to think? How are they to live? What are they to do? Bring people to nirvana. Now it's like, well, I can't do that until I know karmically what to do. All right, here's what you do. Here's the guidelines for a bodhisattva. How a bodhisattva beginner chooses their behavior. according to the sixth perfection. And then when we're ready, we can actually take vows to, technically they're vows to avoid not living like that. And then later we take vows to do stuff to increase the power of the morality that we're training ourselves to do. So course 7 is Bodhisattva vows. We get another course, course 9, that's on other kinds of vowed morality. It's kind of interesting, it comes later. Because our conclusion from Diamond Cutter's Sutra should be, oh, right? I'm empty. I create an empty world into what it is by way of my behavior. What behavior should I do to create this empty world into a world of paradise for everybody? Diamond Cutter Sutra is revealing that. And ta-da, we've finished ACI 6, class 10, ACI 6. We'll do our review on Friday morning. You will teach me, right? So you get the seats for being teachers, being seen as teachers. I love that. And then on Friday, would you, as a group, decide on a date that you will have your papers all submitted to Victor so he can give them to the dean so you can get your certificates? If we give ourselves a date, right, we're much more likely to get that completion that we want. So please do so. And we'll come up with a date for the Lung of the Diamond Cutters Sutra, where you just listen as I read it to you. We'll try to get that to happen sometime soon. All right. So well done. I'm really rejoicing in you. Nobody's car exploded. Nobody dropped off the face of the earth. I think we all got sick or something, but it's okay. We're better now. So remember that person we wanted to be able to help at the beginning of class? We have learned a lot. Whether we realize it or not, that we will use sooner or later to help them in that deep and ultimate way. And that's a great, great goodness. So please be happy with yourself. And think of this goodness like a beautiful glowing gemstone you can hold in your hands. Recall your own precious holy guide. See how happy they are with you. Feel your gratitude to them, your reliance upon them. Ask them to please stay close, to continue to guide you, help you, inspire you, and then offer them this gemstone of goodness. See them accept it and bless it. And they carry it with them right back into your heart. See them there, feel them there. Their love, their compassion, their wisdom. It feels so good. We want to keep it forever. And so we know to share it by the power of the goodness that we've just done. May all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom may. So use those 3 long exhales to share this goodness with that one person. Just share it with everyone you love. Just share it with every being you've ever seen or heard of. See them all filled with happiness, filled with loving kindness, filled with wisdom. And may it be so.